All right, guys, this is week 3 session. For the past week, like, how did it feel? Did we win a lot of games? Was it toxic?
We
Did
did.
we learn stuff?
We've had some good games. I think I had
You're on a fat win streak. I saw that.
yeah, I had one stinker, which was that Bara game. That was pretty ugly. That was just like that just was the most you are meant to lose this match that I've ever had. I was like, Jesus, like it was like fucking Gaben smote me.
Right. Yeah.
Um But other than that, the games have been really good.
Okay.
I did have this rough Witch Doctor game, which was the game I was wanting us to go over. That
Okay. We'll look at that
was
one then. What
yeah.
other notes, like, so from the games that you were winning, like what was going well? Like, why do you feel like you were winning more?
So
What are the trends for the last week, I suppose?
this will be a little weird, but I've kind of like been playing some of my games while like smoking weed.
Okay.
Um, and that can be good and bad, definitely. I have like really bad ADHD, so sometimes it feels like it really helps me focus on things. Like I'm much more easily. I don't know. It just like really helps me think about the game in a different way. Um, like I will go in lane and I'll be like, okay, like just certain things I wouldn't think in the way that I do. Like I need to be like we're playing for objectives right now in the laning phase. Each creep is an objective.
Okay.
Um, so every deny I can get, every CS I can get, every time I harass him, those are all the objectives right now. Just because they're not a tower
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
a Roshan doesn't mean that you don't have objectives in front of you.
Yeah. I like that.
Um,
I like that way of thinking. That's good.
yeah, I don't know why it never occurred to me, but just doing that, it made kind of like how I should play this a little bit more natural feeling. So it's like, okay, like sometimes it's like, if I'm not thinking that way, like I'm like, oh, I want to minimize my harass that I'm receiving. But sometimes it's like, who cares? I'll take a little bit of harass to secure this objective.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
more worth it. So that's kind of been a trend of stuff like that. Some mechanical stuff. So I've been kind of just like um trying to make certain things easier. I switched around some of my key bindings and I've like tried to make it so I don't have to like look at my keyboard to
Okay.
do those things. So
Yeah.
there's been a little bit of trial and error with that, some like sad BKBs
Yeah.
every now and again.
What were the main changes you made with keybinds?
It just was mostly my item keybinds.
Hmm.
So I wanted to make it so that I could access all my item and spell keybinds with my left hand.
Okay.
And just have it that easy so I could just focus on like movement and stuff with my mouse.
Gotcha. Okay. What was it
Um,
before?
I have like those little side mouse buttons,
Hmm.
so I would use those.
Gotcha.
Um, and there's nothing really too wrong with that necessarily, but I hurt my hand at one point, and so I couldn't press those buttons. And
Gotcha.
I was like, you know what? I might as well just have it, you know, able to be all done with one hand.
Yeah. Okay. Right on. That's funny. I'm a troglodyte, so like, I only have I only have 2 buttons on my mouse, so you
Hell yeah.
can't even see it. Come on, camera. Anyway, it's got a. Oh yeah, I should stream in Discord. Sec. Share screen. Also, what's up, sweet? You're good. I'm streaming, by the way. Um, yeah, I only have 2 mouse buttons and then the mouse wheel, so like I have no mouse buttons. So it would be reversed for
Nope.
me. It would be an improvement to get some mouse
Yeah,
buttons, but like
true.
whatever. Yeah, I'm the same way. So the one disadvantage to doing it that way, like having 1 through 7 being your items, is it
Yeah.
makes micro harder if you're using like
Oh
summons or
yeah,
something.
for sure.
Other than that, I think it works fine. And then you just got to get used to like do you have it 1 through 7 or what?
No, I have it. What do I have? Think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then C and V.
Interesting. Yeah, mine is super simple. It's just 1 through 7, and then I use Z is ping, X is level up ability, V is grab all from the stash, although that's been bugged the last couple of days.
Yeah.
B is my shop, N is quick buy, whatever's in the quick buy thing. M is missing, and then C, I actually realized I didn't have it bound on anything, so I set it to select all other units. So if I'm playing like Chen or something, I press C and it gets all of the summons, but not Chen,
Gotcha.
which I don't always use. And then I have Alt A for select everything, and then space selects my hero. But that's cool. I mean, yeah, that's really good. Do you feel like the keybinds have been helping, or is it just like a side thing?
Yeah, I think it's like it's gonna take time, but I think once I get used to it, it'll be natural. It'll be easier for me because like I did have like some stuff where it was um like set to like 6 or something like that. But for me, maybe my hands are just kind of like smaller. It's harder for me to reach,
Yeah.
and so like if I need to like slam a button, that's kind of hard. So I think it's easier to have it kind of closer.
Yeah, I screw that up with my my neutral item because that's on 7. So
Yeah,
like sometimes I'll have like my spoke on 6 and my stupid trusty shovel on 7, and I'll misclick it, and that sucks.
yeah.
But you just get used to it. So I played a lot of RTS games, and so the
Okay, yeah,
more you do that, the more you get used to like reaching across the
yeah.
freaking keyboard to
That's
do
that's
stuff.
funny because I actually got the idea watching a dude play StarCraft.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I need to like get my shit together.
Got like 60 buttons on this stupid keyboard. Just trying to use them all, right?
Yeah,
But that's awesome. Okay, so we've got big win streak.
yeah. I
Playing
did
while
break
highs.
one of our rules. I have been playing like a lot of
Okay.
different heroes, though I have like if you look a little deeper, some of the heroes have been like more consistent, mostly Tidehunter and Spirit
Yeah,
Breaker.
I'm noticing that. You got some Tidehunter
Yeah,
spam, some Spirit Breaker. There's a couple Dooms, one Sand King, Bristleback, and then I'm assuming the Wyvern and the Witch Doctor games were like you were out of roll queue games or something.
yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Those,
okay,
that's exactly what happened.
that's fine.
But I had like very good success with Doom, which I was like, the reason I picked Doom the first time was it just seemed like a perfect Doom game, and I'm like, okay, I've never really played Doom, but this seems like too much of a like good opportunity,
Okay, yeah, yeah,
and it
yeah.
really worked out. So I because I was worried, I was worried I was gonna have to know like so much about all the neutral creep abilities, and it was gonna be really hard, but it's actually not.
Mm.
I'm sure if you wanted to get in depth, you could, but just taking Centaur Stomp,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
you know,
basically it. Yeah,
yeah,
it's just for a quick thing for Doom, um, Centaur Stomp or Hellbear,
yeah,
Clap are the best ones if
yeah.
you have Blink. If you're doing like damage Doom, you want to eat that Wolf that gives you crit chance, and then
Oh,
for laning, there's 2 Satyr creeps. The big pink guy gives you health regen and it gives you the nuke, and then
yeah.
the medium blue guy gives you a mana regen aura and gives you a mana like a Nyx mana burst.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I did have that.
That one is
Yeah,
sick as hell.
yeah,
So yeah, all right, cool. So big win streak, playing while high increases concentration and offers different
yeah,
perspective. And then focusing more on immediate goals like last hits denies. Like I put minute exchanges.
yeah,
Does that fall under there? Like
yeah.
trades and stuff like that?
Yeah, stuff like that. It's just general kind of like it's some detail, some big picture stuff. Just like, okay, this makes the most sense to do now. Yeah, it's like one of those things because it's kind of amorphous to describe. It puts me in a different perspective. Sometimes to like the negative, where I can get like too focused on
Yeah.
something that doesn't need to be focused on as much.
Would you
So
say it's like you're playing in the moment more?
yeah, I would say that.
Okay. For sure, for
Yeah.
sure.
So it's like a good way to just kind of shake things up and see like what do I normally pay attention to? Does that make sense or does this make more sense?
Okay.
You know, some of that stuff I don't know. It literally just comes way more natural, like high.
Well, there you go.
So
I mean, don't
yeah,
fight it if it works, you know.
yeah. No, it's
Um
been cool. But yeah, the witch doctor game I had was a sad one.
okay. So let's look at that
Um,
one then.
yeah, I had my Elsie was pretty toxic.
Mm.
and so we were kind of going back and forth a bit. But other than that, it was like it felt pretty winnable. I'm not saying I played perfectly. I think that's I mainly want to focus on the things I could have done better.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe if I was stepping into like some bad habits as far as like no one's pushing lane, so I have to do it, versus like I should have been just like taking advantage of like what Witch Doctor does.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Well, it's an hour-long game, and there's a difference in kills of 1. So I'd say once you get to this point, like, you might have played perfectly, and you still end up in this situation.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. What was the lane though?
The lane was me. Yes, me and Lena versus CK and Marana, I believe.
Okay. All right, let's look at it then. So
let me pull up your
it looks like you guys friggin' stomped this lane. I mean, Lena's ahead in net worth, and then at like 11 minutes, like you're ahead of the CK.
Yeah. No, we fucking kicked ass in lane.
So good lane win. Cool.
Yeah.
Somehow you hit 6 before everybody else.
Oh yeah, I was fucking because luckily I've watched like I've just seen so much Witch Doctor, even though I haven't really played him. I just kind of know what you're supposed to do with him.
Yeah.
So I was hitting a lot of like Maledicts and then hitting the stun instead of
the other way around. Yeah.
The other way around, which helps you way more get a kill.
Yeah. Okay. What do you want to even look at the lane stage then, or are there specific parts that you want to skip to?
I don't remember specifically which parts we started to kind of break down.
Mm-hmm.
But it's mostly kind of like one post laning stage phase. That's mostly the stuff that I think where we started to have issues.
Okay.
It's in the
but
bag.
we could zoom by it just to see if there was anything
interesting, let's see, because if you look at the graphs, you guys are winning for most of it, so do you think it might be helpful to just skip straight to where the net worth swings if there's no questions about any of this stuff?
Yeah, let's do that. That makes the most sense.
Okay, all right. We'll go to like 35 and speed through that, and it looks like around 44 you guys throw. We'll just go to 40 minutes, and then we'll see how it looks. So it looks like you guys throw here and then stabilize, and then you throw again.
Yeah.
So let's see that. So 44 minutes. Quite late into the game. God, you guys are so far ahead. Okay. This is like right before us. We'll go to like here. Let's see what it's looking like. Rip, I skipped to a part where you're dead. We'll look at vision. Invisibility. These are, I mean, this is for the push. I like this. This is good. Is Roche alive? Roche is dead. Okay.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
So the big contention in this game amongst the team was I felt like initially like they had way better team fight than us.
Okay.
And I felt like our team was much more suited for pickoff. And initially, my LC agreed, but for some reason they were like, "Yeah, we should pick them off as 5." And I'm like, "That's just a team fight." You know what I mean? Like, you just end up with them all reacting, and then we're all there. Why would they not? You know? And so, yeah, it became this big contention.
Okay. Do you remember a part of the game where that argument was coming up?
I think they just kept on getting into individual fights. Like Elsie would, go on somebody, and then whoever was nearby would have to react, and then it would be like, oh, where was the team? Why wasn't anyone else there? And it's like, well, how are we supposed to know you're about to do that? You didn't even announce it.
Okay.
So not particularly, unfortunately.
All right.
I think unfortunately a lot of the game, basically most of the game was in like Melina's hands.
Yeah.
And I think unfortunately they were able to figure out how to deal with her. That one also, some of it was like not being used to Witch Doctor, because I could have hit Switcheroo right there and not gotten killed by the Lifestealer. I don't know if I would have survived or anything, but at least maybe I would have done some more damage.
Right. Well, I mean, that high ground push was reasonable. Like you guys had Aegis, the SF was dead. It makes sense to push there. It just seems like execution was bad. I guess the other thing to the whole reason of doing the replay review is so like we can learn from your own gameplay like what you could do differently. So it's looking at these team fights is not going to be worthwhile unless it was like explicitly like you had a question of whether this team fight should happen, or like you told your team like let's team fight, or what. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I think maybe one of the things I was trying to figure out is how to execute my part of the team fight better, because I know like my ult was a big like part of the early game and even into the late game. That's why I got the Ags to scale.
Yeah.
And I think towards the end I was really struggling to like get the perfect ult, and that might just be like I'm a position 5, all the cores are super farmed. It might be like really hard to do that, but I think that I could have done better as far as that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll try and look at your execution then. Did you do the thing we thought about of like strengths and weaknesses, and then also like how that affects your hero? So like in your case it would be like who can cancel my ult,
Yeah, so that was kind of like a hard thing because they have both Invoker. Does Invoker's alt push interrupt?
You know what? I'm not sure. Actually, I don't know. We should find that out. I don't think it's a stun. I don't think it is, but let's double check real quick. Because that'd be at least one MMR thing to learn.
Like, so I don't know if the knockback cancels it.
Yeah, it's knockback. It's similar to what the hell is it called?
Fear?
Well, fear is a stun for sure. Fear is definitely a stun. What I was looking up the other day was Clockwork Cogs bouncing people away.
Oh, yeah.
If that actually canceled TPs and stuff like that. And I don't think it does. I don't think certain forced movement is a stun.
I think it might cancel some stuff, though.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Let's look at it real quick. Just knockback distance. Applies a non-disabling forced movement. So affected enemies can still use abilities and items during it, and their channel abilities are not interrupted. There you go.
Okay. Gotcha.
So that would be... Well, I mean, Invoker has like a billion stuns anyway, but like... So you'd be looking out for Tornado, Cold Snap...
True. I was thinking about things that can... I don't... and to be honest, I think I lacked on the execution as far as like how people are good about going invisible before ulting. I think I did fuck up on that, but I was trying to think of like, okay, if I do execute that, who can interrupt that even then? And that would be Invoker and SF and Mirana, actually.
Mirana Arrow, yeah.
So that was a difficult part of it. They did have a decent amount of like ability to interrupt my ult.
Right. The other thing to be thinking about is like who's the ideal cast target. So I would say it'd be CK because he's got a bunch of things for it to bounce off of. You'd be looking for channels you want to mess up. That would be SF's ult. Your Maledict should actually be fine even against Lifestealer. He doesn't get dispelled, but like I think he won't take the damage.
Yeah.
Your ultimate is really good against Lifestealer too, because you have the like besides let's see. Okay, so she has Laguna, and then you have Legion ult, and you. So you guys have so Lina, Legion, and you have the 3 ults that go through magic immunity. So you'd be wanting to try and hit Lifestealer with Voodoo and Death Ward.
Yeah.
If possible. Does the game just end here?
I think so.
Oh. Oh, they hold. Okay, nice. Okay. Nice. So, like, what do you want me to just look at, like, each team fight and look at your positioning, or what?
Yeah, maybe let's do that, because that's something I really like. Have tried to be conscious of ever since that one dude I told you about, Excalibur Gay. He said like that's like one of the biggest things that you can will make a big difference is your team fight execution. If you have a big ult, or if you like the way that you use it can change a team fight entirely.
Right, absolutely.
So here I'm not really thinking too hard because it's just like I'm the only one up. I just have to throw out stuns and shit and hope that it, keeps us alive for a little bit longer. I think I did not use really Maledict too much late game.
Well, so one thing here is Witch Doctor is a combo hero, right? So everything you kind of want to like mash your entire keyboard at once with him.
Yeah.
Like it really, he's highly synergistic. So if you go to start your combo and you don't have all the pieces available, that's when they can do like good interrupts, right? So if you don't have Glimmer available when you're ulting, if you don't have them, if Cask isn't bouncing, like with Maledict on them, like things like that, or Cask holding them for your ult. So making sure you actually have all that available. Like this stun is like whatever, because you're probably not going to fight in the next 13 seconds, right? So that's fine. So like this Glimmer is a little too early, because then he can just get you, right?
Yeah.
So like if you, instead of glimmering in, like if you just ult from, let's see, where is it? You look at the range of this thing. I think
that's something I didn't consider either, is that you
have Aether. Like, you could cast Death Ward over here, man.
I think I didn't even think about that. For some reason, I thought that like when you slam it, it just appears near you. I think I'm literally just realizing that where I press R is where it happens, right?
But look at that range.
Well, that's a big MMR game there.
Yeah, you could be ulting right now. You don't have. It's not switcheroo.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
No wonder, because I was like, dude, why is it so far away from who I want it to be on?
Yeah. So Death Ward is super weird. Death Ward is like you're actually summoning a thing that is doing attacks. So like Death Ward actually benefits from some weird like on hit effects. Like I think Chen's Penitence buffs the attack speed of Death Ward.
Oh wow.
Because Death Ward's actually like a unit.
Yeah.
Like Nether Ward or like a Plague Ward or something like that. So why was I bringing that up? I don't know why I was bringing that up. But that does.
You're saying it's a weird ability.
It is weird, yeah. but switcheroo is different. Switcheroo is you turn into a death ward.
Yeah, true.
Right? So yeah, I'd say that's the main thing. Like, so what you can do instead here is you got to be worried about Invoker and Mirana at this range, because you got to be thinking about their stun ranges, right? These guys are effectively like global for your purposes.
Yeah.
So if you just start ulting like here, maybe.
Yeah.
You could just start ulting here, and then you can watch the CK and see if he's going to walk up and get you, and then you can just glimmer yourself.
Yeah. I don't see that's also a thing I don't ever think about, is using items during channels.
That's a big one. So
Yeah.
on CM, Witch Doctor, that's going to be a big deal. The other thing to think about is Death Ward is 8-second channel. Glimmer
Yeah.
is 5 seconds. So when you glimmer, you've kind of used up half the glimmer beforehand.
Yeah, true. So it's only like 3 seconds, maybe, or 2.
Now, like, I'm gonna be honest, because you don't have BKB, like, it actually should be relatively impossible for you to get a Death Ward off here at all.
Yeah.
It shouldn't even be an option. Like, it should be Mirana and Invoker insta-stun you as soon as they see it.
Yeah. Maybe the play would have been get the ward off, look for them to use an ability to stun me, and then switcheroo.
It would be, except Switcheroo is nowhere near as good as Death Ward.
Yeah, well, I didn't think about the fact that since you turn into it, maybe I'm not taking advantage of the range anymore.
That's another thing too, because it is a little bit closer. Oh, I remember why I was bringing it up. I remember now. Because you summon the Death Ward wherever, and then the Death Ward has its own attack range. So, like, Death Ward's attack range is 700. So, like, you could actually hit Invoker maybe from here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can actually hit the Invoker with your Death Ward from here if you did like max range.
Interesting.
And then you also know that you can target the Death Ward, right? Like you can tell it where to attack.
Dude, I completely forgot about
that. Oh my god! All right. Okay. How to play Witch Doctor?
Yeah,
okay.
That's really.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Maybe we should just go through all of his skills. Maybe that would be helpful.
Yeah.
Because I could use a refresher as well. So, all right. Cast does magical damage. it's targeted. It doesn't go through immunity. Only strong spells. Good to know. Voodoo Restoration does magic damage. Pierces spell immunity. I think that's just.
No, it does damage. What the fuck?
Yeah, they changed it. It does. It does.
Wow.
Did you not know it did damage?
No, I had no fucking clue.
They changed it in like a recent patch, and people were trying Witch Doctor offlane because of it. So Voodoo Restoration does heal and damage in an aura around you.
40 damage per second is pretty good.
I don't think the damage goes through BKB, but you can heal spell immune. So yes, that's another thing. Maledict cannot be dispelled, but doesn't go through magic immunity.
True.
So in Lifestealer's case, because it does magic damage, you'd put it on him, it would stay on him, and he rages and stays on him, but he isn't taking damage, but he still technically has Maledict on him.
Yeah.
Maledict lasts 12 seconds, and his rage lasts 6. So it means you could actually get Maledict value even after rage expires. I'm pretty fucking sure. I don't play a lot of Witch Doctor or Lifestealer.
True.
No,
sure
that's how that works.
That makes so much fucking sense, because that actually would have been really valuable if I could get it off before his rage and hit him with ult, even if for the first 6 seconds or whatever, he doesn't get any of the damage. The health difference, the health lost, should still hit him in the last 6 seconds.
Like if you hit him with Maledict and then he rages and then Legion duels him, punch, 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 punch.
Yeah.
Rage ends, duel ends. He still has Maledict on him, and then he's getting bursted after that. Like, it's not as good, obviously, but it is still an option simply because it's not dispelled, right?
No, and it's still important, that it does so much damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, true.
Okay, something else to think of. We'll go to Voodoo after this, but okay, Death Ward. So That's physical damage. You know that, right? It's not magical?
Yeah,
Okay.
that I know.
All right.
And I know it
Deathward
pierces
has
spell immunity.
Yeah, because it's an auto attack. Deathward has
Yeah.
50% bonus accuracy. I didn't know that. If you get the Ags, it then gets True Strike and bounces. So I didn't know that either. So potentially a good option against PA.
Yeah.
210 damage per shot, pretty good. Has 700 attack range, 60-second cooldown. So Switcheroo is the same thing. It's like you are the Death Ward. It has 30% less attack speed, or 30 less attack speed. It lasts for 3 seconds instead of 8. And it's on a 40-second cooldown instead of a 60 cooldown. So it's just like a mini Death Ward, right? Also, I don't think you can be stunned by anybody if you're in Voodoo Switcheroo.
Yeah.
I think you're
Yeah, because
actually...
you're basically like gone.
I think you're banished, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's double check though. Are you going to be playing a lot of Witch Doctor, or is this even... it's even worth
I
our
do
time?
like him. I mean, I was popping off in lane, so if I have to play position 5, I'd definitely be down to play him.
Okay. Disjoints projectiles upon cast. Witch Doctor is invulnerable, hidden, and prevented from acting for the duration. Summon Death Ward, based on its current level, is summoned at Witch Doctor's location. Death Ward nodes fully apply. If it is not learned, Voodoo Switcheroo does nothing upon cast. The Aghanim Scepter upgrade fully affects Voodoo Switcheroo as well. Voodoo Switcheroo cannot be canceled prematurely, so I didn't know that. Always lasts for full duration unless Witch Doctor dies during it. But I don't know how you would die because you're invulnerable. So maybe you would die to a dot while you're doing it.
Yeah.
You can't be attacked, but you can still take damage.
Right.
Has the lower attack speed. It can attack up to 10 times, according to the wiki. Yeah, okay. So, I mean, that's like... maybe it's helpful for me to do this with you, but like if you are going to play a hero, like go read their entire wiki page until your eyes are bleeding.
That's why I think it's still worth even. I mean, I do think like I'll play him in the future just because I had such a good like, even though this game sucked in the end, it was still like we smashed that lane.
Right.
But it's still like good to get this process going so that it's like, okay, now I'm playing this hero. We'll do the same thing that we did for the Witch Doctor and look at all these like little technical ways that these skills can be used, because you might be in a situation where that's important. Like I just saw, I think whatever guide that you had up said that if you put the Death Ward in Chronosphere, it will not work.
Yes, because it's a unit that actually has to do attacks.
Right? I didn't think about that at all. So.
Okay, good. So we can think about our items then a little bit. That's another way we can, like, knowing all this stuff about Witch Doctor, right? And seeing the enemy team has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ways to cancel your ult. So if you do identify like, okay, my ult's super powerful in these team fights, my ult's good against Lifestealer, whatever, like I am a strong hero this match, this is where you would actually, I think you'd want to itemize differently, right? So you made that decision, you went Ags, because it's like, yeah, it's good this game, right?
Right.
So what I would say is, given that you only have so much net worth, I think replacing one of these items with a BKB would be super helpful.
Yeah.
So let's look at your thing real quick. Go back to here, go back. Let's look at the order that you bought them in. So you go Glimmer right away. I think that's fine, because that's kind of like a mini BKB for your ult, right?
Right.
Aether Lens is a natural progression. That's fine. The cast range is good. So I think the Force Staff, maybe you cut the Force Staff thinking like, okay, we need my BKB for this fight. Or
gotcha.
Whatever.
That makes sense. I honestly didn't get enough out of it in this game. They have like, I thought about it for like getting away from like Lifestealer or dodging a Mirana arrow, but they have so much of that shit to throw out. It's not as simple as just dodging one thing, which now thinking about it, BKB makes much more sense because now I'm dodging everything.
Well, the other thing to think about, because you are the 5, right? So technically, your job is supposed to be your items are supposed to help your carries out.
Right.
But this is where being a little bit more adaptable and
Yeah.
realizing that, like, you know,
Yeah.
no, my hero actually is strong here. I'm going to make the choice to itemize for myself. Can be a big deal.
Right. And my legion's chain dying, so I have to kind of step up and bring damage in.
Yeah, I mean that can be another thing too. It's like if you're actually higher net worth than her at the end of the game. So let me just look at your thing real quick.
I actually don't know who did more damage overall.
Yeah, Legion was not having a good game. You were higher than net worth than her at 20 minutes. So for quite a while, she was the lowest net worth. So this would be one of those awkward spots where, like, you can't make her be the position 5.
Yeah.
Because you're not on a pro team and you don't know this person. And also the question would be, like, can Legion even effectively play a position 5? I'd argue yes, they could. They could actually do it, but like because they have heals and stuff.
Yeah.
But we're not going to expect anybody to do that. So it's unreasonable to be like, you be the 5 and I'll do this. But this is where you would want to note, like, yeah, I'm having a good game. This LC's not having a bad game. And so your job as the support is to prevent this from happening in the first place. Like, whatever you can do to help this Legion out. Like, if you need to, like, go babysit them farming or make stacks for them or ward for them or, tank a gank for them, like if they're split pushing, like you just go stand there and be a ward and die for them so they don't end up in this position. But on the flip side, if you are having a massive impact and you can feel it, then you can be like, yeah, no, I kind of want an Ag Scepter or something like that. Like I did that on Jakiro the other day, right? Like I got my standard, defensive items and all that stuff. And I'm like, they got a lot of magic immunity and my team has a ton of lockdown. I'm going to go Ags and just pure damage them through BKB. Like, who cares that I'm the 5? My Ags is good this game. Like, as long as I'm not griefing my team doing it, like, sometimes there's games where, like, CM goes Tranquil Boots BKB, and that's, like, it works, right?
Yeah, it's all just about the situation of the game. Does this make sense for this game?
Yeah.
Is this, like, like we said in the last session, it does. Who cares about what the traditional thing to do is? Will it win us the game?
Yeah, and that has to be within reason as well, because like if you're just like automatically going like I go Dagon, it's good, like
right,
like all the time, like you're not really supporting. So it has to be like a conscious, like you thought about the traditional route and then thought about how effective that would be, and then being like, no, I think it's worth it for me to gamble here and like itemize differently for my team, right?
Actually had a problem with that lately with other people. Not Dagon specifically, but I've gotten like multiple times now. I don't know if it's like some like pro player said something or whatever, but like I've had multiple position 4s say like, yeah, I just intended on itemizing as a core this whole game because I can't trust my team.
Yeah, and I think that is a dangerous philosophy to fall into, because basically if it can totally be valid, right? But what happens is that you get a lot of people that they're not doing step 1 of the process, and they're not trying to actually support at all. They're just like,
right, exactly.
They're like, they pick Ricky's support and then they like go treads diffusal Yasha, and it's like, well, are you really supporting or are you just playing support, quote unquote? Like, you're not really supporting, because like supporting means different things. It means like you're wasting half your money on like dusts and smokes and sentries, and you're taking the time to stack and not farm and all the different stuff that you have to do as a support. So I guess it's just it's always a balancing act. It has to be a balance between like, I actually am trying to support, but also maybe this guy clearly doesn't know how to play his hero very well, or he's just having a bad game, or he's countered, or whatever.
I think it has to come. Yeah, I think exactly that. I think it has to come from like, not like I am going to play this position from this position. It has to be, I'm just going to ball out as this position. So I'm going to be a sick ass 5 this game, instead of being like I had a game, we ended up winning, but it was like a Weaver, and he just like halfway through the game just starts farming, and it's like, okay, we won and you did well as Weaver. Like clearly you're a good Weaver player, but like we were already winning. Like we could have just like if you just supported instead of like extending the game by farming, the game would have been over earlier.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But we also, I mean, we don't want to get too. Try not to get too tied up in like other people's
No, I feel you.
decisions. I think that's also another really, really hard part. There's a lot of contradicting advice, right? Like it's like, oh, I'm a strong support this game, so I'm just gonna be a core, but also you still need to support, but also you. I don't know. I've been having a lot of trouble with this as well recently, trying to think about like this exact scenario. It's like, okay. Like I had a game where, actually, I mean, we can just talk about it. So I had a session with BSJ that I brought to him where I was Clockwork 4 and we had Snapfire 3. And I'm like, okay, I'm basically like the only melee strength, you know, tanky, stunning walk-in first guy. So I'm going to play more like a 3 and less like a 4. And in my mind, what that meant was, you know, if they're around, I'm not going to steal farm from them, but I am going to take more opportunities to farm as opposed to doing other things. And I'm not going to itemize like supporting stuff. I'm going to try and go for more core items. Like one frequent thing I'll do on that note, like with Clockwork specifically, is I'll go like Blade Mail instead of going for a Vessel, or, you know, like after I get a Force Staff, I'll like be like, yeah, I'm going Ags now. You know what I mean? Like I'll do a little bit more greedy itemization to kind of like to try and do that. But I also will try not to steal people's farms, but I'll also try to farm more. But I also make sure I'm still buying lots of wards and doing that stuff. So I'm effectively playing like position 3.5.
Right. Yeah. No, exactly.
Yeah. It's hard to do it though well.
Yeah.
Without griefing everybody and.
No, for sure. And it's a weird distinction, too, because it's like the difference between that and just playing position 3 from position 4. You might technically be doing the same thing, but the way that you're doing it makes all the difference.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like if you're farming... Like if you're farming, but you're farming the stuff that everyone else doesn't want to farm. Versus taking the farm that your position 1 wants.
Yeah, that
you know
can
what
be,
I mean? Yeah.
That can be tough.
Like you're doing the same thing, you're farming. It's just the way that you're doing it makes that difference between, you know, 3.5 and 3.
Yeah. It's definitely hard to do. Because the other thing about it is you could say like, well, I'm having a good game, and so that will allow me to like buy Greaves and buy a Solar Crest or buy whatever, so that I can support even harder. Like, I think that's how some people do it. Like they just look at it like I'm just a bigger support versus like trying to transition the role. I personally, my opinion is it's more valuable to actually like be adaptable like that and start to like play a little bit differently. But obviously this takes a shit ton of experience, and you know, it's not easy to get it right all the time, especially in the context of random matchmaking with people you don't know that have expectations, right? So you might have a guy who's like, oh, why is this guy going Ags? He's supposed to support me or whatever. And it's like, you know, now you're in that can of worms. Like,
for sure.
So, I don't know, man. But regardless of all that stuff, I mean, the stuff we talked about, like, I don't think it would be unreasonable to like, you know, switch the Aether or the Force Staff for the BKB.
No, that makes sense. I think that was all the game. Or
get the BKB before the Ags, maybe. That's another way you can do it, you know, and if you get there, you get there.
Yeah.
Because if you do feel like the Force Staff is like super duper necessary, then that's like, well, then you kind of gotta buy it, right?
Right.
But no, it's tough. But I mean, we learned a lot of stuff, right? So we learned Death Ward has super long range, and Maledict doesn't get dispelled. And what else did we learn? Voodoo Switcheroo is just worse.
Right.
And we learned anything else here about Witch Doctor? Oh yeah, True Strike on Death Ward accuracy.
And that where you cast the Death Ward Like it doesn't just appear next to you like I thought.
Yeah. And also saving Glimmer Cape, because I've seen it like twice now where you Glimmer Cape to like walk in and then you ult.
Yeah.
You really want to like do that in maybe the
that's
reverse
why
order.
that's because I'm not thinking about doing it while channeling. That's not even like a thing in my mind for some reason.
Yeah.
Which is like a huge thing for, like you said, somebody like Witch Doctor, CM.
Yeah, it's super important to have that. Okay, well, I hope that's good. Is there any other questions or anything like that?
No, not really. I think that, you know, we didn't go super deep into it just because I'm not as used to Witch Doctor as I am other heroes, but I think we started like a really important process that I'm going to carry over past this to other heroes, which is just analyzing my team fight abilities and analyzing like the actual execution.
Okay. It goes back to what we were talking about a while ago, where we're thinking about like the optimal usage of something. Like the next step of that is, well, how would I execute the optimal thing? Like if Jakiro, if you know, it's like, what's the best ice path? What's a 5-man ice path? Okay, how do I do that? Okay, I got to position myself so they're all lined up, right? Or something like that. Or I got to wait for a Darkseer vacuum and then I can do it. Like it. There's a next step there. So analyzing team fight abilities would be the first one, and how best to execute them. Also itemizing and using items in conjunction with our abilities. So thinking about how the two combo together, if you need to combo it for it to do anything, right?
And I think kind of like another thing is that as well with abilities, like how to best combo abilities, because that's something I thought about it early game, like I was saying with the maledicting first, then using my other shit, but in the late game I was not executing that well.
Right. Let me put it up like this so it looks a little better. I'll save and put this up. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, comboing abilities. Okay, good. That's up now. So analyzing team fight abilities and how best to execute them. Itemizing / using items in conjunction with abilities. Combining abilities together. Or comboing, right?
Which set of abilities, how do I slam these abilities in the way that maximizes my effectiveness?
And that's going to be more of a thing. Actually, you come to think of it, I think you do play a lot of combo heroes. Like, well, like Sand King is definitely one where it's like I need to like Epicenter and then Blink and then Burrow Strike and then Sandstorm or whatever the hell. Witch Doctor, same kind of thing. It's like, do I Maledict first or do I stun to land the Maledict? Whatever.
Even Doom. Do you Doom, then stun, then use your sword?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably just a big part of Dota. And that is going to be, I guess, in the moment, the way you decide on that is mainly like, do I need this ability to land the other ability? Or would I be able to get more value if I did it in the reverse? So like, what's a good example? I'm trying to think of one where it's like you kind of wanna cast it in a certain way, but it would make more sense to do it the other way. So like, I guess let's say you're chasing a hero with Crystal Maiden, right? And you just can't get in range to do like Frostbite, so you do a max range Crystal Nova to slow them down to then Frostbite them. You might be wasting a little bit of the value of Crystal Nova because you didn't get any right clicks in and you overwrote the slow duration with a root duration. But like, if you didn't Crystal Nova, you weren't going to Frostbite anyway.
Right.
And then the other way to do it would be like, well, ideally I would start with Frostbite, whack them, and then when Frostbite ends, I'd hit them with Q and then whack them some more. Like that's probably the most amount of CC and damage you could get would be that order, right? And sometimes it's just one is necessary more than the other, and that's just a judgment call, really.
Yeah.
Okay, so analyzing teamfight abilities and how best to execute them, itemizing / using items in conjunction with our abilities, and comboing abilities together. Considering optimal versus like
Dire are scared.
mandatory usage. That's what we'll say.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think, like, you know, if you're any player who's played long enough, like, to some extent, you're probably decent at your execution. But I think there's a lot of situations where if I just thought a little more about it in depth, I could get off, like, my abilities in a more optimal way.
Yeah. Okay, so one last thing to note, because I am noticing it a lot. You are tending to stockpile wards a lot.
Yeah.
Is that because you're worried about them getting deward, or are you just overthinking like where you need to put them, or what?
I think what happens is I partially that I don't want to put them in places where they're going to get obviously dewarded. So I try and kind of be creative about my usage of them. Like, am I going to get a lot of value out of this while also they're not going to like really check for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think also sometimes it's kind of like when I'm starting to strike that, you know, am I the position 5 anymore? Am I team fighting? I lose track of that a little bit.
Okay.
So then it'll like some time will pass and I'll be like, oh fuck, I have like 5 wards. I need to put these up.
Gotcha. How do you fix that then? Well,
I think I have to keep in mind that that's still my role.
It is still your role, and it's honestly like one of the most important things about the support roles is getting good wards down. I am noticing you're doing more creative ones, for sure. I think it's okay. Maybe an easy way you can do it is just like,
Dire's middle tower has
you can just conceptually split your wards in half. So you could say like, all right, I'm gonna make sure we have at least one ward on our side of the map, and then we're gonna put one on their side of the map. And then also, I'm going to put one obvious good ward down and then one sneaky ward down. So like here, I would say, given that your guys have so much map control, it would be okay to ward the high grounds. Like, it'd be okay to ward here. It would be okay to ward here because you guys are strong enough to defend them.
Yeah.
You don't need this many sneaky wards. And so what you could do is like, okay, I put a high ground ward here, and then I put a sneaky ward like here, or a sneaky ward over here, and then you've like split it half and half. Like, one of them is super value, one of them is less value, one's easy to find, one's hard to find, and then it's like you just got the 2 down super fast. That's something to try in the future. So
for sure, and maybe taking advantage of my quick buy. And just keeping the wards in there, so like once they're off cooldown, it just alerts.
You mean like the TP scroll down here, that thing?
Yeah.
That would be a good idea. I don't tend to do that. I've just built the habit to like open the shop every 40 seconds or whatever the hell. I don't even know how often I do it. I just open the shop and just buy them up. One other tip on warding: if you notice that your team never has any vision, even though you've been buying the wards all game. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll actually stop buying so many wards because I'm getting the impression that like my warding sucks and the enemy team is finding them really easily, and so I'm like, maybe someone else will have a better idea of where to put these.
True.
So I'll still buy a couple, but I won't buy them all out, you know?
Yeah. True.
But all right, cool. So we got 4 things there. So let's put those in our notes. And the game ended right at this, so it's perfect. Thank you, game. This was... Alright, cool. Anything else before we call it?
No, I think that's a good place. I think that overall, still the games have been really, really good. But I think even in this, it will be really useful for my offlane games because arguably sometimes offlaners have more important ults or bigger ults. So thinking about those, thinking about what the proper Doom target is, or it's interesting because his Ags makes it like you have a lot more options because you can Doom somebody who you think is going to be around their team and have to stick around them, and then they're all getting doomed, or you can Doom on yourself and walk down people.
Right. Which I think is just for that one thing. I think it probably is going to be more reliable to just Doom yourself and run in. Because then you control where it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's good. Okay. I mean, it's always an ongoing process. We're trying to think about stuff like that. I would say I'd warn against I don't know. Is it even worth saying? I was going to say I'd warn against hesitating and not making any decision, and because you're worried about making the wrong one. But I mean, I think it's okay. Just keep thinking about it. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't want to because I think being less hesitant has gotten me a lot more. Like we had talked before about certain games where it's like, if I got to slam a Tidehunter ult on 2 people or even 1 person, and it's going to give us a big benefit, who gives a fuck that there's not 5 other people there or 4 other people to get hit in it,
Right.
But also trying to think about, well, what if I gush this person before I ravage, and that way they can just automatically jump on him and his armor's already gone. Is that worth thinking about? Or, just shit like that, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
All right, man. Hope that's helpful.
I appreciate you.
Cool. We'll aim for next Monday, right?
Yeah.
Next Monday at whatever time we said, 2 p.m.
Yeah.
If that time works for you, then we'll do that.
Yeah, that's perfect for me. There shouldn't be a problem with that.
Sweet. All right, man.
All right.
Well, good luck in the rest of your games. Good job. I'm glad to see all the progress being made.
Thank you. I appreciate you getting me there.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's been really productive.
Nice. Good to hear.
All right. Well, catch you later.
Have a good one, man. Good luck in your
You
games.
too.